to today's video. So a few different things before we start. You might hear some background noise, the water heater, I don't know, the immersion is not on, I don't know why it's making noise, but it is, and I have a wash on, so that might make some noise. Also, I was kind of waiting for the primary school nearby to finish and all the kids to stop making noise before filming, and then I realised that was a huge mistake because now the kids are out of school and playing outside in the car park right outside the window. So it is fewer children, so hopefully it's less noise. I don't know, so there might be bits of background noise, apologies for that. Also, I've tried a different lighting setup today. So I've got a window over here with natural light coming in, and I've got a daylight lamp over here, which is like for arts and crafts, but I think it kind of works. Let's see. So anyway, all of that aside, welcome to today's video. This is my first update for my project Level Up Lite. So Sophie Alexandra created this project where you roll through palettes and you are kind of trying to do a few things at once, use every shade and hit pan in one shade. So that's level 1. I'm very bad at hitting pan, so I'm doing Project Level Up Lite a la Ruth Foley, and I will link all of their videos below, Sophie's and Ruth's. So I am picking a focus shade and using it 5 times for level 1. We have a few rollouts today, so we're gonna get to talk about the rules for level 2. So I picked 5 palettes at first, just because I wanted to use palettes together and things, and it's gone pretty well. I actually have 3 rollouts, we'll get to those in a minute, but first I'll talk about the 2 palettes that are staying in. So the first one is the Natasha Denona Mini Gold. I love this. I will pop up an image of the numbers of uses in this project with all the palettes. So this is my focus. I've used every shade once. This is my focus shade. I still have to use it 2 more times, which won't be a problem. I love this thing. This is actually excellent. I have a little table that the light is on beside me, so I have somewhere to put the things I'm finished talking about. That's good. Next one that is staying in the project is my magnetic palette. So I've got, okay. I've got Sydney Grace, Glaminatrix, Glamshop Poland, Sephora Collection, and Sigil inspired by Tammy Tanuka in here. And I've used 13 of the shades, so just under half. And this is my focus shade, and I think I've used it 2 or 3 times. The image will be up, will clarify. So I have a couple more uses to go on it, and I have to use the rest of the palette 1 time each. As you can see, it's a lot of pink shirt, like that's 3 different shades on 1 finger, and they all look pretty similar. This guy is the only casualty from that little accident there, and I have repressed that several times already. I think it might be called Honey, like in English. It's from Glamshop Poland. Anyway, I've been having fun with those. I knew it would be challenging to use all of those once each, which is funny. Like, I don't think the challenging bit, even though I haven't done it yet, is the focus shade. I think using them once each is challenging because it's a lot of shimmers, which I love, but a lot of them are really pretty and special, and I kind of want them to be the focus of a look, so that's like a lot of looks. So I am, however, using 3 of them today. One of the Sydney Grace mattes, a Sydney Grace shimmer, and a Glamshop Poland shimmer on the inner corner, which, yeah, if I turn that way you can kind of see it. And I have a shade from the palette I'm going to talk about in a minute on the outer corner. So those are staying in, still level 1. Keep working on them. I'm pretty happy to, you know, at least have made a dent in them at this stage. It's not as if in order to finish off these other 3 palettes I never touched those, so I'm pretty happy with that, and we'll keep working on them. Next are 3 rollouts. So this is the Bobbi Brown Pink Glow Luxe Quad, and it's these 4 like baked gilet things. So you might be able to tell that this light shade was my focus shade, and I think I used it 6 times. I used it as an inner corner mostly. this is the palette that has made me realize that I should have taken introductory photos, because it's definitely looks different than it did at the start. So I was like, oh, level 1, it'll look the same, because I'm not trying to hit pan, I'm only using a focus shade 5 times. It'll look the same. No, it doesn't look the same. I should have taken intro photos. Anywho, that's rolling out. All of those shades are so beautiful. I think only use the rest of them once each, maybe one of them twice, but I think all only once each, because I was focused on hitting my goals across the project. But it's such a nice palette, and very happy to have a reason to pull it out. Next is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. So today I have Palladium in the outer corner, and that gave me and the lower lash line, my 5th use of that, and that was my focus shade. So I'm really happy with this, because I didn't realise how lovely Palladium was at all. Like, it's such a pretty shade. And I never would, other than for this project, have made this the focus of a look ever, because it's beside my favourite shade in the palette, Bliss. Obviously very different, but I can't really be beside this beautiful shifty red, really interesting different shade, and use a more boring shade instead of that. But I did, because this project, and I really enjoyed it. It got a bit of hard pan, which a lot of my Natasha Denona shimmers do, because I have extremely oily skin, so even if I don't use my fingers, as soon as I dip the brush back in to the pan, like, the oils from my skin are getting into it, which can contribute to that. But also I do use my fingers all the time, so definitely an issue with Natasha Denona shimmers, and in this palette in particular. Like Bliss, I gave Bliss hard pan the day I opened this palette, but it's not a problem. They're still totally usable, and obviously you can like scrape it off and whatever. But yeah, I have used every shade once. I've used Palladium 5 times, so that is rolling out. I'm not like shocked that I really enjoyed using the palette so much, but how much I like Palladium was definitely brand new information I wouldn't have realised other than this project. Next up is the LA Girl VIP Desert Dream palette. Ooh. And this I had the most fun with. It's just the perfect colour story for summer and autumn, and it has been, you know, the end of August, start of September, and I've used every shade once. I've used my focus shade 5 times, including twice as a blush, though possibly I've actually used it 6 times, because I think I used it on the eyes and as a blush on the same day once, and I definitely used it as a blush another day. And I've been kind of combining it, because obviously it's kind of pigmented for a blush for my skin tone anyway. Really pretty though, with a kind of more neutral browny lighter blush, like this one for example. So I'll kind of like put that on first, and then put this, like buff it out with a more neutral blush, and that's worked really well and been a lot of fun. I'm not like desperate to repurpose products and things like that generally, but these pans are just so big that I thought they were kind of crying out to be used as face products. So yeah, another one actually where you can really see a disturbance now is this guy, which I also used as an inner corner and kind of like all over the inner lid shade. So yeah, I wish I'd taken intro photos, but I will now take them for the new palettes that are rolling in. So out with the old, in with the new. So I hopefully will be able to put up the video on my phone from rolling these palettes. I did it last night because I film on my phone, so I can't do it during the video. So I don't know what order I rolled them in, but I'm going to talk about them in the order I have them here. So first is the NABLA Read My Mind palette. So rolling this in for level 2 because all the palettes I'm rolling out were level 1. And we've got some just beautiful rosy tones at the top. I am a little, not worried, but like it will be challenging for me to use these colourful shades twice. but I still think twice is reasonable. This will be challenging for me, and I do think certainly if there's a black, I was about to say a matte black, but like also if there's a black shimmer, I wouldn't want to use that either. If there's a black in a palette, like I don't do liner, I do generally very light looks. Like this is all like very light and mid-toned. What's on my eyes now, this is what I like. So it will be challenging for me to use this twice. I'm still going to try to do it, and probably it'll be like the lightest touch and it'll be blended into an outer corner that is mostly like this shade, and you'll be barely able to tell that this was there, but that will still be a use. Not the kind of use where you could ever hit a pan, which is why I'm doing the project this way. But anyway, so yeah, I definitely, if they're actual blacks, I'll be like, I can use that once, even if I'm on level 5. But yeah, dark brown, I'm going to do my best at this stage. We'll see if it lasts past level 2. We'll see how difficult this is actually. And these colourful shades will be difficult. I am not going to pick my 2 focus shades now. I'm going to let myself pick them, you know, from getting to know the palette more, and it'll become obvious, you know, oh, I need to use this in my crease for every look or whatever. So I'm going to let that happen naturally, though I do think that I will use this to set my lid, and that'll be an easy way to get my 6 uses for my focus shades. So I'm going to use every shade twice and then 2 shades 6 times each. So probably this one, and then I'm not sure what other one, like maybe this really fun shade, or maybe that's too much and maybe it'll be a crease shade or whatever. So yeah, very excited for that. I have done like No Pan Left Behind on this before, but other than that I haven't used it a huge amount, like maybe once or twice other than that specific project or goal. So I am excited to get to know this palette more. Excuse me. Next up, I have 2 palettes that I was a bit less excited to roll, just they're less my colour story. So we've got the KVD Planet Fanatic palette and the Glamshop Poland Chocolate Cherry palette. Sorry, I don't know why the water is making that noise. So the KVD palette I got for €12 in the €12 Tuesday sale in Boots that they have every week or most weeks. And now I can't open it. There we go. So it's 14 shades, which also is like quite a lot. So I am definitely thinking about how am I going to use this blue twice, this dark green twice. Like, I think I'll definitely be able to do it. And the fact that I still have the gold from the gold palette, which is very much a green gold, to use, I think like this on the outer corner and this on the inner lid, like I think that'll look really nice. And the blue kind of stands out a little bit, and the fact that it's a matte blue, and then the colourful shades, which are these kind of teal, like sage is the name of the rose, so these kind of tealy blue, very quite blue greens in the NABLA palette are also matte, is not ideal because I'm just not a do a whole matte look person at all. But yeah, we'll see. And again, I'm not sure which shades I will pick as my 2 focus shades, but probably this as an inner corner highlight will be one of them. But we'll see how it goes once I start using the palette and seeing how I feel about it. And then the Glamshop Poland Chocolate Cherry, this I think is such a good autumn colour story. It's like this berry palette with some neutrals, really pretty. It's a couple of years old. There are, I think, 2 main shimmer formulas. One of them is this really rich, beautiful, like saturate, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, like thick shimmers, and then which I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are that kind of formula, and then this guy and this guy are very different, and they're more kind of bitty, and they actually feel like they have dried out, and they are meant to be less dry than this. But I think they still work, so like that's really pretty. So yeah, anyway, all of that is to say that it is a bit older, and I very much so think it fits this time of year, and I don't really wear it the rest of the year. Something I have considered is this isn't a magnetic palette, but the pans are magnetic. So if I destroyed the packaging and like used your hairdryer to loosen the glue or whatever, I could get these pans out and then keep some shades and get rid of other shades and keep them in a magnetic palette. So that is a possibility. And like my favorite shade in here is definitely Krokant, which I put through Google Translate from Polish and it came up with Kront, which not a word I'm familiar with. And then it suggested, I think, Danish, and the translation was crispy. So I don't know. But like that's such a perfect like just crease shade for me, because it's like pinky but also very neutral. It's like pinky peachy perfection. So I definitely think that will be one of my focus shades to get the 6 uses on. And then I'm not sure about the rest of it. Like I'm tempted by this because it's just so beautiful. But it might be like that's kind of a dark shade for my general everyday preference, so it might be challenging to do that. So I don't know. So those are my 3 new roll-ins for level 2. Generally people aren't working on several palettes at a time, and now that I'm on level 2 I will quickly begin to understand why. But I just want to use palettes together and keep, you know, making my way through the 30 palettes that I brought with me while we're moved out. So yeah, I am happy to still have 5 palettes in this project. Just a little more on my personal rules. So because I am rolling out 3 level 1 palettes, I'm rolling in 3 level 2 palettes. If on the next update I have 1 level 1 palette to roll out and 1 level 2 palette to roll out, then I will roll in 1 level 2 palette and 1 level 3 palette. I'm not going to just keep jumping up every time. I'm going to keep going up in steps from whatever is rolling out. Also, if I roll one of my really big palettes, like a 30 pan Colourpop palette, then I am going to go back to level 1 because there's just no way I could use all those shades twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times. I probably will never get to level 5 because I'm doing more than 1 palette at a time. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that update, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.